If you want my blood to boil, bring up hate crimes. Bring up hate crimes, you, the civilian, you who says, hey, let's charge someone with a hate crime. Well, because they committed murder with hate. Or the motivation for murder was hate. Yeah, they didn't murder him for a good reason. They murdered somebody for a hateful reason. And that's worse. Because a person's more dead if they're killed by a hate crime than if they're just murdered because, I don't know, somebody was jealous or a burglary gone bad, or it doesn't matter. See, because in murder, we have this kind of a love affair. We don't know the first thing about it. And what we do is we make it exceedingly difficult for prosecutors to charge people with crimes because we're always making it even more complicated. So let's do it this way. I was a Florida prosecutor. Florida. MASH unit. I mean, serious. This is, blood and guts, Dodge City prosecution. No fooling around. Hate crimes, no. Everybody who committed murder, who killed somebody with the intent to kill somebody, with some premeditation, malice aforethought, that's it. Whether the victim was a cop, a grandmother, a vagrant, a child born, let's don't go there, but it didn't matter. It was very simple. Did you kill him? Yeah. Did you intend to kill him? Yeah. That's it. Now, later on, during the penalty phase, in a death case, and the death case is determined by the prosecution, by the prosecutor or state attorney who says, you know what, this case may not be the best for a death penalty case. Why? Because during this second part of the trial, in a first-degree murder case, the aggravating factors don't outweigh the mitigating. And we can spend some time later on, but that's it. That's the only consideration. It's the only consideration maybe about, intent or background or, listen, if somebody was having a series of, and you can go through mitigating circumstances, it wasn't particularly heinous, or it was particularly heinous, or whatever. That's for the death penalty. But to charge somebody with murder, that's it. But today, in order for me to charge you and prove under this specious lunacy called the hate crime, I don't have to just prove that you intended to kill someone, which sometimes is not as easy as you think. I've got to prove why you did it. I've got to show that you killed these people because they were Christians, or because they were gay, or because they were black, or because they were foreign, or because they spoke a language you don't like. I have to go that extra step. And if the person who committed the hate crime wasn't exactly clear as to why they killed somebody, I'm SOL. And you know what that means. Let me give you a couple of examples. In the case of a robbery years ago in New York, there was a fellow who repeatedly robbed a group of gay people who were out milling about, and they would meet in a particular area as they were milling, whatever that means. And this fellow would always target them. So they were going to charge him with a hate crime. Oh, because you're targeting gay people. It's a hate crime, right? Simple, isn't it? Isn't it simple? Wait, there's more, as we say on QVC. When asking this fellow, did you target these people because they were gay? He said, yes. Aha! Because you hate them. No, I thought they would be easier to rob. I thought, mistakenly, that they were effeminate and weak, and these are his words. and that therefore they would be a good target, just like some people target the elderly. Not because they hate the elderly, but because the elderly don't put up a fight. I mean, there's always some kind of targeting involved. A rapist, usually are heterosexual. Do they target women because they're women? I mean, we don't even go into that nonsense, except when hate crimes come into it. Oh, then we just love to go into why. Another example, New York case. There was a fellow at some fast food place, and he was involved in a fight, and he kept yelling a pejorative term for gay people. Starts with an F. It's also a synonym or used by the Brits to denote either a clump of sticks or a cigarette. In any event, you know what I mean. And they said, aha! Hate crime, because he said the F word regarding gay people. And they said, oh, yes. So they arrested him, and they were going to charge him with a hate crime. Well, here's the problem. The person who yelled this was gay. And he used that term not out of affection, but out of something that we may not understand. Have you ever heard of African Americans using the dread N word? You're going to charge them with a hate crime because what? This is where you go. Now, as the prosecutor sits back, he says, I've got a two-tiered case. I've got to prove intent. I've got to prove that you were there in this particular part of the town, this county, this area, that you had a possession, and I got to prove why. Why? I hate crime. If you ever love crime, did you ever hear somebody who mitigated a crime because I loved him? I killed her because I loved her and I couldn't have her and I didn't want what? No, you don't understand. She had a disease. I was trying my best to. She couldn't live with that. I was doing the best that I could. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? There's no mitigation for that. Maybe in the sentencing part. Everybody now is going nuts because of the horror in Nashville. Let's go through the manifesto. Let's find out why. Well, it's moot at this point. And for political reasons, have at it. But let me also give you a little fact about people who commit crazy crimes. They're crazy. And they may not be crazy to the point where they need hospitalization or they're schizophrenic, but they're crazy in terms of the delusion and the manifestation of hate and the vectors and the way they despise people and the way they become focused and it's just nuts. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's crazy. And they say things. You should see serial killers. They're the worst because the insanity is in their calmness, their matter of fact. Listen to Ted Bundy. It's the most lucid. He wasn't crazy. He wasn't a psychopath, maybe, but he wasn't a psychotic. You want to play around with hate and everything? No. Is it about women? No. It defies. And please, stay away from the word evil. I don't know what this means. What is this? What are we writing? Fairy tales? And the evil princess. And the evil? What? It's not. It's there's you can't believe how matter of fact these people are. Let me tell you one I heard. It was an interview with a serial killer. It was one of the most boring interviews I have ever seen in my life. And it was about to change whatever it was because they're not interesting people. They're not interesting. They're not. Except this person. And right before I turned the channel, right before, he said, and I believe it was to Piers Morgan. Maybe the only interesting interview he's ever had. In any event. And it was he was older now, but he says, and I'm paraphrasing, please, I'm trying to remember it perhaps maybe selectively, but he said something to the effect of, have you ever been excited? Have you ever done something where you've been thrilled or energized by something? He said, this to me, to kill somebody, he said, It was the most incredible thing he's ever done. He said he could see, again, I'm paraphrasing, the atoms vibrate, or he said it was wow to be involved in the murder of a human being. Now, you want to get into motivation behind that? Good. Have at it. As a prosecutor, I don't care. By the way, Mr. Adams' excitement, did you intend to kill this person? Yeah, thank you. That's it. And some statutes say, well, you can only have the death penalty if you kill a police officer. Stop. Why is a 98-year-old grandmother not as important as a police officer? With all due respect to police officers, God bless them. Defund. I'll tell you what you can defund, but no. Make it simple. But you see on TV and news, because we love to keep your attention, and we look at it through the various foci and prisms of behavior and why and motivation, and stop it. Make it simple. If you read something, if somebody says, here's my manifesto. I love this word, manifesto. Manifesto. Yeah, read it. This is okay, fine. This is my doctrine. This is my screed. What does it tell you? What does it tell you? What? You can't believe, first, out of 335 million people, roughly, murders are, I can't even find a slice. And of the crimes that are committed, it's even more. And of the types of death cases, whether murder, first degree, second degree, third degree, manslaughter, heat of passion, depraved mind, kind of second degree, depraved heart, reckless indifference, blah, blah, blah. It's this much. Do you know how many transgender people there are? I don't. Do you know how many crazy people there are? I don't. Do you know how many people with guns there are? 335 million people. And nobody does this. Nobody. There are people out there. Here's the best part. If I could take you to prisons, and show you and introduce you to the sickest people you've ever met in your life, absolute clinical psychopaths, they've never killed anybody. Never. They'll rob you. They may rape you or torture you or hurt you. They've never killed anybody. They're not serial killers. Whenever you try to find about serial killers, we always talk about the holy three, right? When they were raised, enuresis, bedwetting, versus encaprices, which is, look that one up. But enuresis, bedwetting, arson, lighting fires, causing fires, and teasing small animals. And they lived terrible lives. They were abused. You know how many people were abused as kids in the world? You know how many people were bedwetters, teased animals, tortured animals, burned animals, were sexually abused, trafficked. They never kill anybody. There is no matrix. There is no doctrine. There is no calculus. There is no function. There is no algebraic equation or algorithm where you take this amount of these facts, throw it into the machine, and you get this. This is a rarity among rarities. This horror. Now, politically, you have at it. That's for you to talk about and to go to, cable news and have the time of your life. I'm telling you right now, if you want to really make an impact on any society, you tell them the following. You better really, really want to commit an offense in this state or this city or this county or this district. And the reason why I say this was years ago there was a picture I had on my refrigerator for years. It was a guy in the Everglades. He had like a pup tent or something. I don't know what it was. But outside the tent, in this weird kind of like that hee-haw scrawl, that weird kind of corn pone exaggerated writing, it said something to the effect of, you'd better really want to come in here. Now, I don't know what that meant. Was there a dog in there, a gun? Who knows? But I'll never forget that. You better really want to come in here. And if I ran the country, if I ran your city, I'd make Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd look like Minnie Pearl. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good. You would see the stats. You would see this. It would be a prosecution machine. Be very fair. Alternative sentencing programs and diversion and all that, but it would be something like you've never seen before. Seriously. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to come back and talk about this because I've thrown a lot at you right now. But do me a favor. Lay off this hate crime business. That's great to talk about. You want to get people? You want to prosecute people? You want to make it real hard for a defense lawyer like me to come along and say, well, let me work on it. See, I can prove it. Like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, well, he might have proved murder, but he didn't prove the intent. There was no animus. He didn't kill this person because they were Native American or because they were gay. No, that was never proved. So therefore, great, now we're looking at what? Murder 2? Manslaughter? Because you made it complicated. The worst is, simple. Is that the man? Yes. Did he intend to kill him? Yeah. Ta-da! So go back to your cable news. Have at it. But if you want to know what happens in the real MASH unit, the real battleground of prosecutions, make it real simple. Real simple, okay? All right. Now, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. You know this routine. And please, whatever it is, I want to see your thoughts and comments. Comment as you see fit.